really a rafting guy, per se, because of the rapids scare me. I'm more of a tubing guy. I like to leisurely find myself going down the river at my own pace. But if you like rafting, Paul and Al, they do the annual rafting trip up in Maine. It is very excited to announce it's coming back in 2022. But you don't want to wait until then. So HAY giving you a whitewater rafting trip at Crabapple Whitewater Rafting in Maine. So this is the place they usually go. You'll just be going without them. And let's be honest, it's probably... Joby on the way.
Allow potentially the Iranians to and enter our hemisphere with weaponry, putting some of the Iranian missile systems into Venezuela, just below the United States. So this first was reported last weekend that we were watching diligently, that we were surveilling a couple of these Iranian vessels. Originally, we were surveilling the Makran, which is an Iranian oil tanker that's been turned into a staging base, and also monitoring this Iranian naval frigate, and both ships heading toward Venezuela. Now, remember, the Iranians have threatened on many occasions that they were going to send their warships, send their naval vessels into the Atlantic Ocean. So what are their intentions? What are they planning on doing? It is believed that, according to some analysts, it's believed that Venezuela purchased weapons from Iran about a year ago, and are these weapons being delivered by this flotilla from the Iranian Navy? Now, I'm reading reports about the satellite images, and the USNI News reported earlier this week that the Makran was carrying 7 high-speed missile attack craft. Now, what does that mean? Well, on the deck of the satellite photos, the surveillance photos from the deck of one of these Iranian vessels, this Makran, this converted oil tanker, the reports are that there are 7 of these fast boats, these high-speed missile attack craft. Now remember that these fast boats, as they're called, they've been used of late, recently, the last couple of weeks, last month or so. They have harassed U.S. naval vessels operating in the Persian Gulf. And if I'm not mistaken, in the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians have screwed with us. They've provoked us to the point where they've gotten dangerous and coming close to U.S. naval vessels that we fired warning shots. Yeah, I say enough of the damn warning shots. I think you blow the living crap out of these Iranian boats and you blow up the kingdom come. You blow their asses into smithereens, is what you do. And you send the message you don't harass U.S. naval aircraft, or U.S. naval vessels, I should say. And I think that a distinct message has to be sent, and that's the activity that the Iranians have pulled off over on that side of the planet. Now we've got Iranian vessels potentially loaded with weaponry and missile systems for Venezuela. What are we going to do? I think we ought to confront these vessels and force them to turn around. And if they don't, sink the damn boats. And if Iranian weaponry in our hemisphere in Venezuela is a clear and distinct threat to the national security of the United States and the Western Hemisphere. Incidentally, yesterday, one of my senators here in Florida, Marco Rubio, he tweeted that the incursion was Iran's way of projecting a message of strength to the Biden administration. Exactly what they're doing. The Iranians now are testing President Biden to see if he has a spy. to see if he's got any cojones, to see if they're still operating or they're, shriveled into little peas. That's what the Iranians are testing Joe Biden. President Biden, what are you going to do? Are you going to rise to the occasion and send a message to the provocative Iranians or what? The tweet from Marco Rubio went on to say that this has all of the markings of delivery of an arms sale such as fast attack boats to Venezuela. So the 7 boats, are these boats also part of a package of arms being delivered to Venezuela, or are these the Iranian Navy's own fast attack boats that can be used to, harass U.S. vessels on this side of the planet? Or are these boats going to the Venezuelans? Hey, how do the Venezuelan people feel? The economy has collapsed there. They're in dire straits, and they could be spending, hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions, on Iranian weapons? By the way, a U.S. defense official told Politico, one of the early reporters of this story, that the Pentagon had no plans to deploy U.S. Navy ships to meet the Iranian boats. Why the hell not? We should. The Iranians are pushing our buttons. The Iranians are testing you, Joe. Come on, lunch bucket, Joe. Show the Iranians who's boss here. And as of yesterday, we had no plans to launch any U.S. naval ships to meet the Iranian provocation as they head toward our part of the world. And John Kirby, who is a Pentagon spokesperson, you know the name, he said during a press conference, a little briefing that they had on Tuesday, that he wouldn't speculate about what the Iranian Navy might or might not do. On Monday, Saeed Khatibzadeh, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that perfectly correct, Saeed Khatibzadeh. Jeez, it's Khatibzadeh. The hell do you pronounce that? He's a spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry, and he said that the nations around the world should not jump to conclusions about Iran.